Hey guys, so we're going to talk about female hormone concentrations and we're going to plot it into a graph. Now, if you want, you can do this by hand if you have graph paper. I'm going to use Google Sheets to show you how to create the graph so that we can then write on it and add some information. If you are a wizard in Excel, please by all means use Excel. And what we're going to do is we're going to take all the information we've compiled and understood so far, and we are going to put it together on this graph to kind of see a bigger picture. Up to this point, you've talked about the female hormone loop, feedback loop. You've talked about the phases that occur inside the ovary with the follicular phase, ovulation, and the luteal phase. And now we're going to take it and we're going to say, okay, what does the hormones concentrations look like during those times, and how does it apply to what's occurring? So what I would like you to do is open up your note package and open it up to the female hormone concentration graph. Now I'm going to take off my camera here so that I can focus just solely on this. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this graph and we're going to Control C, copy, right click copy. And what I would like you to do is I'd like you to take it up and I would like you to put it into a lovely Google Sheet. Okay, at this point, you can pause the video, put it in, and then follow along. I'm just going to keep going, so just pause your video as you need. So what I did was I just clicked in, pasted my data in. I've already done this a couple times, so pasted my data in, made sure I had it highlighted, and then I went Insert Chart. And what I got was a chart that looked like this, which is exactly what I want, which is perfect. I'm going to change the name of my title just so I remember what my graph is about. Hormone concentrations. And I'm going to take this graph and I'm going to either print it off, copy and paste it, cut it, whatever you want into another sheet, just because we're going to write all over it. I personally had to do my snipping tool. So I went down here to find my snip and sketch, which is this tool right here, snipping tool, snip and sketch. And then I had to snip it and add it into another document. If you're using a Google Doc to draw on this or write on this, if you click on these buttons here, and you hit copy chart, you can copy the chart and move it into a Google Doc. I'm going to use my Smart Notebook, and you're going to see kind of all the stuff I've written all over it already. So I've already taken what I did here, big old chart here, and I copied it over into this. So I'm going to walk you through what I've put on my graph. So again, at this point, if you want to stop and pause it and add all this information to your graph, you're more than welcome to, or you can listen to my explanation and then put this stuff on the graph. So we're going to look here at all the different types of hormones that are occurring. All right. So here you can see estrogen and FSH. Okay, estrogen and FSH are the ones that are going to be rising during menstruation in the follicular phase. And the reason for that is that estrogen and FSH are developing the follicles and helping the follicles develop and build the lining of the endometrium. So what you can see here is as menses occurs, so menstruation occurs from day 1 to 5, which is what I have here. We have very immature follicles, not really developing, not doing much, but I do have the follicular FSH. I do have FSH starting to rise, okay, as it's starting to develop a follicle. All right. Down here, I have estrogen slowly starting to build as it helps build my endometrium lining. All right. So that's what's happening in the first 5 days is menstruation. 5 to 13 is the follicular phase. And what is it doing? Well, it's building the lining of the endometrium. So there's a couple things happening. I'm having immature follicles become mature follicles. I have the loss of the endometrium lining and then the building of the endometrium lining. I have the buildup of FSH and the buildup of estrogen. That's all happening within the first 14 days of the cycle. Now what is happening is around day 9, LH starts to build because when LH finally peaks at around day 14, that's why I have approximately day 14, we have what's called ovulation. Every woman is different, and their ovulation, it can happen in a 3-day window. All right. So when a woman is trying to get pregnant, a lot of women will use what they call ovulation trackers, which is essentially kind of like a pregnancy test, and it just tells you that you are ovulating. All right. And then they know that they can then proceed to have intercourse and hopefully then have fertilization occur. All right. So ovulation happens anywhere between day 13 to 17, we'll say. The other thing is once ovulation has occurred, once we have released this egg, okay, we're reminding ourselves there's only a very short window of time, approximately 2 days, in which that egg can be fertilized. During that time, LH drops. So we would call this, ladies and gentlemen, the ovulation phase or ovulation. So that happens at approximately day 14. We're still building our endometrium lining. Now, what happens is once ovulation occurs and LH drops off, you will notice progesterone, this beautiful green line, starts to take off. Because what's happening is this guy here, the corpus luteum, is actually secreting progesterone to help maintain that endometrium lining. So not only did we build it, now we're trying to keep it. And that's happening in something called the luteal phase from day 14 to 28, approximately. Okay. So the luteal phase occurs, and as it occurs, progesterone holds itself nice and high, stays nice and high as LH starts to drop, as FSH starts to drop. Estrogen is always going to be there because its job is to help with the endometrium lining. So you can kind of see it hanging out there. But progesterone will stay around. Okay. And progesterone will stay around and maintain that endometrium lining until between day 26 to 28 when implantation should have occurred. So let's pretend implantation did not occur. You're going to see that endometrium lining start to shed through the process of menses. Okay. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is when you would menstruate. All right. For when a female menstruates. The issue is let's say we do get pregnant, let's say there is implantation, this needs to maintain. So the corpus luteum would stay a luteum for a little bit longer and not disintegrate into a corpus albicans. But if implantation does not occur, a corpus albicans is made, and we then will see menstruation occur. So add all of this information to your graph, as it gives you a larger picture of everything that is occurring during the time that a female has their cycle. All right. I'm also going to post Miss Edmondson's version of the combined female diagram. She does a great job of combining another version of this, and you can kind of see two versions of it. Have a great day.